feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no wave.
I don't know about y'all, but this shit getting out of hand, man. I think it's time we had a conversation, man. I think we're going to have to trade Atlanta to Mexico or some shit like that, man. Like, to secede Atlanta from the whole United States, man. It's impossible. I just can't see how one city could be having this much bad luck. I just can't get it, bro. We got to get Atlanta out of here. Just secede Atlanta. Atlanta got to go. Trade Future. Send him to, like, I don't know, Mississippi or something like that. Could Tennessee get like Savage? The rest of them, just take the whole Atlanta, send it back to Mexico, man. Give us Guadalajara or something like that. We'll do a trade. Atlanta is like Boondock City. Atlanta is like straight up the Boondocks. We got Young Thug on probation running up on Charleston White saying he step on shit. Curling his toe. Playing in his hair. Gossiping on the jail phone with his girl. Telling the cops, I'll tell you anything. Here's my personal number. Just don't tell nobody what I told you. Gunna, ever since he just been doing marathons after. He's actually the new Nipsey. The marathon continues. Nigga doing 5K runs all the time. He basically got a 5K one letter if he was doing the feds. Now he's just doing 5K runs. This shit's getting out of hand. And Gucci, man, gets robbed by his artist, drops a statement on his artist, and clearly he ain't doing enough talking yet. Now it's time to rap. Oh, hell nah, man. Atlanta gotta go. Atlanta gotta go, man. Atlanta gotta go. I'm sorry. I was holding out some hope for Atlanta, but Atlanta, you guys are a disgrace. I can't even lie to you. This is bad. We gonna trade Future. We need Future in the game, right? Future and Savage. The rest of y'all could just go, man. Just go. Just go, man. Just go. We good. Think we've heard enough. And it's always the rappers who already done doing a lot of talking already. They still got more to say. Gucci been quiet this whole damn time. When Gucci see that the case looking a little weak, he said, hold on now, I got some more to say. God damn it, Gucci. God damn it. Anyway, chat, welcome. Start with a update on what's going on with the Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty situation. Chat, we had a few people in court. And thank you to the people who reached out and they offer to go to court and they do a good job of like taking notes or whatever. But we had a few people who kind of reported to us exactly what happened. And this is a really interesting situation here, chat. A really interesting situation. And rather than pull up everything, and I'm going to play some videos, so don't you worry, but I want to give you the realistic understanding of what's going on in this Gucci, Pooh Shiesty, Big 30 robbery kidnapping case. It's a very odd case. Very odd. So, there still isn't a indictment. Now, I've gone over this procedurally for you guys many times because we've covered a lot of cases. Let me just tell you the difference between them. In federal court, okay, usually the feds come in for serious crimes, especially if they're going to take it out of the state's hands. Yes, the state could have charged him for robbery and kidnapping as well. So when the feds come in, the feds don't want jaywalking and shit like that. They want the big boy. They want the big crimes. They want the racketeering. They want the shit that could carry potentially life in prison. So when they come with that means this is a heavy-weighted case. Usually they do that a lot. Now, the way how it works, and it works like this in federal court, but also in state court, is that, if you get pulled over, like, I don't know, say a cop pulls you over, you have a gun, you could get charged. If you say you're not supposed to have a gun, you just get charged. And that's usually what's called a complaint. So a cop could just write up some charges and the DA just got to sign off on it and you're going to court. That's how it works, right? It works like that on the state level. In the fed level, it works like that too with an agent making a report or what's called a complaint. But usually in every jurisdiction, it is usually required that if you're going to face charges that will carry up to life, usually first degree offenses, that usually it goes through a process called a grand jury process. What does that mean? It means that it's not up to one cop, one federal agent to make a complaint, and now you have to potentially sit in jail for months or fight a case for years. It goes to a jury of your peers that could establish or vote if there's probable cause for you to go to court. Okay? For example, when Dirk first got charged, a agent who was monitoring him wrote up the complaint. They got a judge to sign off on it and the AUSA. And what that complaint did, it prevented Dirk from leaving the country. They locked him up. However, that complaint was going to be challenged after a while, so they went and got a grand jury indictment. And the grand jury indictment is literally, I believe it's 23 people. They're going to listen to the facts of the case. It's usually the prosecutors presenting it. And if half of them say there's enough evidence for probable cause to go to court, you're indicted. Okay? They return what's called a true bill. That then gets added to the record. That gets presented. And then you are then arrested and arraigned. The reason why I'm saying that is because this Shiesty case is really odd. Apparently, he's not indicted. So essentially, the only reason he's locked up is because of one agent who was following and working this case. This agent is a new agent. It's a woman. She's a new agent to the agency. Reasonably. She's only been doing the job for 3 years. Okay? So much new and so, like, I don't want to call her inexperienced or a novice, but the sole person, the woman, and we had the statement up here. I mean the complaint. I could put it up here again. The person was so new. Give me a second right here. And yes, her name is, here we go. Her name is Brittany Garcia. She was so new to the agency that when it was time to go to court for even Shiesty's hearing, she didn't even take the stand. Her boss took the stand. So you have a special agent that works with FBI. She's the only person who is verified. I mean, there's other people she worked with, but based on her research, her reporting, her investigation, Shiesty's locked up. And she doesn't even take the stand. Her boss takes the stand in replace of her, which is odd. So no indictment, right? They're going to have to try to get one. No indictment. The person doesn't take the stand. We hear this elaborate story because she writes it all up here, right? She got everybody's birthday. There's some work done. But it takes 3 months to come up with this kidnapping charge. Here's the problem with this whole case, and this is why it stinks. What's written in this affidavit is a great story. But it's a great story that's basically plain telephone. Oh, Roderick Davis told this person that told this person. Oh, this person said this. Oh, the security guard that's the off-duty cop, he heard this. Who was there direct? Matter of fact, fuck what a nigga said. Where's the video? So, in court, let me lay out a few facts. The federal authorities now claim in court, and there's been 3 hearings. There's been a bunch more because there's more people, but the ones that have been reported on are these 3, Big 30, the father, and Shiesty. The feds have said, we don't have any video of the incident. We don't have any video of the incident. We don't have any video of Shiesty with a gun. We don't have a video of anybody with a gun. We believe Big 30 recorded the actual incident on his cell phone. Yes, we did a search warrant on his house and everything. There's no confirmation we found a video. So no video? Okay, all right, bet. Well, yeah, hey, yo, 30, pass me the Drake, right? Pass me the book bag. Give me the... Y'all found the Draco, right? We found no guns. Wait, what? You heard me right. All the guns they've mentioned, not one gun found in all the search warrants, subpoenas, and everything else that the feds ran in. They ain't find one illegal gun. They ain't find one thing that they felt was used in a crime. What? Wait, come again? So no gun, no video of it happening. Okay, man. But they got to have found the items. Right? This was a robbery for this. Y'all must have found the watches, the rings, the cash, the Louis V backpack. Y'all must have found that. None of that found either. The police have said they have found no physical evidence. At least to date, or at least what they're saying in court. They said they've found no physical evidence. So what is this case? This is a federal case that carries up to potentially a life sentence. And it's based on 3 people's statements. The cameraman, BP, and Gucci. Okay. Well, they add, CW as well, which is the cop and his partner. They were playing security that day. Well, they weren't in the room. They will supposedly testify that they knew a robbery was going down, but they didn't do much to stop it because they felt somebody was going to die. Okay. Then the next thing is, all of this happens, and the robbery took place for 45 minutes. God damn it, what type of robbery is this? Gucci was allegedly held against his will for 45 minutes and robbed. Well, let me ask y'all this question. Well, as soon as Gucci left, not Gucci, I mean Shiesty and everybody, well, they called the cops. Well, if the cop that was there waited 45 minutes and he knew what was going on, why he ain't call the cops then? Something stinks, chat. Again, I'm not here to argue whether this happened or not. For all I think Shiesty did rob that nigga. But I'm talking about the case. The case is really odd. It's not about what you know. It's about what you could prove. Let me say it again. It's not about what you know. It's about what you could prove. Train day, huh? So, the case is all about witness statements. That's what it's boiled down to at this point. Yes, they have GPS data. Yes, they have all these things like, yeah, we have triangulated this. The problem with throwing a lot of info is that to a stupid nigga, it's like, oh my God, they got license plate readers. Oh my God, they have GPS triangulation. Great. Shiesty, Big 30, the father, and the other 6 hooligans, they're not saying they weren't in the studio. They're actually down to say, hey, no, we went to make music. We not saying we weren't there. We went to make music. We're just saying, whatever y'all say we did, we robbed, we kidnapped, we ain't do that shit. So, all of this is going to be based on Gucci's statement with the other 2 people. Now, in federal court, it was confirmed. It was confirmed. Gucci Mane made a statement. Now, I think a lot of people, we think Gucci's so tough. We're like, nah, he definitely didn't talk to the cops. You know what probably happened? He probably talked to his security guard, and the security guard, who's a cop, maybe relayed the info to the cop, and they're saying, oh, Gucci said it. Whatever way we want to slice it, dice it, spin it, and twirl it. The point is this, man. Gucci Mane, his statements is reason why they're in cuffs. Point blank period. Point blank period. Now, it would be open and shut in terms of, is this a valid case if the feds didn't also make this admission? Well, yeah, Gucci did make a statement that, Dallas PD used, but we haven't flushed out the statement yet. That's what the FBI is saying. So Dallas police responded to that incident like about 15 minutes afterwards. After the robbery, 15 minutes afterwards, Dallas police came. They got the story. Okay? But they wanted Gucci to come back in, since the feds took over the case, to go do a more thorough breakdown of what's going on. Now, yes, they did say in the first encounter, Gucci did identify who was what and da-da-da. But the FBI, who took over the case later, they're now saying they haven't had their chance to talk to Gucci yet. Huh? They said, oh, we have planned a later date. What? A later date for Gucci and the other two witnesses to come in and give us their full statement that we will use and plan to use in court. What does that mean? Basically, we're going to get their full statement because most likely they're going to have to take the stand. However, the feds have said they don't got that yet. So it's only the initial police report they got. This stinks. Something doesn't smell right. Keep in mind, there's no indictment. And if they're going to indict him, I'm pretty sure this is how it works in a grand jury situation. The people who are sitting there, who are the jury, they could ask questions to the prosecutor. Hey, could we have one of the victims talk? So again, the whole case stinks. Gucci has to do some more cooperating for this to be an actual valid case. He has to go take the stand. He probably has to go take a stand multiple times, grand jury, and probably definitely in a trial if it gets there. But that's what happened, and it's making me think this. Now, the feds aren't really bullshitters like that, but we've seen this year the feds have kind of gotten BTA a bit. The feds with this 97% whatever, we've seen how it happened in the Diddy case. We've seen what happened with YoungBoy. We've seen people have favorable results with the feds. This case actually looks like, in my opinion, and we're going to get to Gucci's song in a second, the feds are using this complaint to get the power of subpoena. Because here's the thing. As a victim, Gucci could just not show up to court. For example, if you're right, let's keep it like domestic violence, right? Say your girl's beating up on you, right? You call the cops on her. Or say if you're a girl and your man's beating up on you. You call the cops and you make a statement. Say the person gets arrested. Now, what happens is they're going to go to court. Now, most domestic violence cases gets dropped because usually those two people get back together, right? And what happens to the case is that the victim just kind of goes ghost, isn't cooperative with the prosecutor, doesn't play a part in the process, and such is the case that without that victim, usually they can't prosecute in a lot of domestic violence cases. So what happens? The case gets dropped. Well, let's bring that back to the Gucci cases. No, it's not domestic violence. But if Gucci does not cooperate, say whatever he said that day, who knows? Maybe his blood was boiling, maybe he was hot, maybe he was mad, maybe whatever excuse you want to use, maybe he was just talking to his mans who was an off-duty security because he's been in security for a long time, and that guy related. Fuck what happened. But say Gucci gets cold feet. The only way the feds have any type of way to try to force Gucci to cooperate is by filing this complaint, and now with this complaint, they have subpoena power. They could subpoena Gucci to take the stand. They could subpoena Gucci. So I would say maybe Gucci's not willing anymore, or Gucci didn't know that his name was going to be in black and white. So he's playing ghost. Well, now that they have gotten this complaint, they could subpoena him. They could force him in front of a grand jury. They could force him in front of the stand. Now, Gucci might be like, hey, I'm pleading the fifth. A lot of people are going to say that, right? Like, yo, even if he takes a stand, he's going to plead the fifth. Well, you're a victim here. What the hell is going to incriminate you if you're being a victim? And also, I'm pretty sure if they care that much, they could try to offer him immunity. Anyway, that's the current update on this case. It stinks. Absolutely stinks, okay? They have all of these pictures of the damn studio, but the studio actually does not have any video inside of it, which is kind of ironic. Anyway, doesn't this look like a little, right here? No, it's not a camera. Is this a camera? Looks like a camera, right? I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to play. I wanted to play the lawyers speaking on this outside the courtroom. But I do know people want to hear this Gucci Man song. Shit, I want to hear this Gucci Man song. Let me play this first. I'll look up this Gucci Man song on the side, but this was after Delontrell Williams, which is Pooh Shiesty, his hearing. Because he was on home confinement, he was not granted a bond, but bond wasn't really up for discussion. This is more of a probable cause to even being detained. Okay? And here's his lawyer, Bradford Cohen, and let's see what's up.
You tell me when you guys are ready. Ready?
Would you say your name first real quick?
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, Sam Zengane, and John Helms.
And any questions, just let us straighten them up.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.
So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed, I think gave great pause to the FBI. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred. They were involved the first night and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a crime that they then didn't watch to see if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video.
Okay, Jesus Christ. The wind is killing this broadcast. Can I find a better one that doesn't have that? Oh, man.
Yes, that's all. Where no one is in case. I mean, obviously, there's 5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio, where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says, "Hey, can I get my watches back?" Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
What is your response to the judge saying that, you know, your client still violated the terms of his ankle monitor location?
Sure, those are all things that are going to be, you know, flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be
No, this
in
is bad,
certain
Jack.
areas.
This is bad. How the hell Fox don't have good Fox has like trash video. See this?
A federal
Williams Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, Cohen.
Okay.
Cooperating.
Say anything about the identity of RD and then
Times that really.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. We just can't get right today, huh?
It's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said
Here we go.
they were involved the first night, and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a crime that they then didn't watch to see if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video of this alleged signing of a contract. They have no guns. They
Yo, Tino, this your video?
have no jewelry. They have none of that physical evidence. What they have is they have allegedly 5 individuals, one of them being a very well-known individual that is allegedly cooperating with the government and making these allegations against my client and many more. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 questions and then we're going to scoop.
You're essentially arguing they've got only a he said kind of case, no evidence.
Correct. Yeah, it's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said type of a case. I mean, obviously, there's 5.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that's the big problem, chat. We got to get some concrete evidence here. I know people are like, oh, okay, you know, Gucci telling. Well, first of all, if I'm the defense attorney here, we're gonna talk about Gucci's whole history. If we get to court, we're gonna go down Gucci's history and prove him non-credible as a witness. Gucci is a guy who's been in and out of jail. He's, had very combative relationships with his artists. And people have accused him of, doing nefarious things to get the better of his artists. So that's what I would characterize. By the time a good lawyer, Bradford Cohen is one of the best. By the time he's done on the stand, you're going to look at Gucci like, yo, Gucci, you might have kidnapped yourself, nigga. yo, Gucci, you kidnapped yourself, nigga. Like, yo, stop playing. So Gucci, like, you see, the cameraman's a better witness, but the best witness would have been the law enforcement officer. But he's outside, like, fucking picking his nose, eating his boogers.
5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio, who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio, where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says,
I'm about to play the
can I
song.
get my watches back. Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so
G-Neck,
long
thank you, bro.
to do this.
What is your response to the judge saying that, your client still violated the terms of his ankle monitor location?
Sure, those are all things that are going to be, flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be in certain areas.
Chat, give me a second. I know the song is out. Like, we're trying to have some little structure to this shit. Let's have a little structure. Relax.
At certain times. That really wasn't an argument for today. I wasn't really even going to make that argument. My main thrust of today was to really push on the evidence and see exactly what they had and when they had. How about this? How about the individual who wrote the complaint, who actually drafted the complaint, who was sitting in the courtroom, who's only been an FBI agent for 4 years, does not take the stand. They put someone else on to say what she wrote in her own complaint.
Crazy.
Sitting in the courtroom. And that's done quite often in gamesmanship, because they don't want to put a rookie on the stand and be measured by our legal team.
How far away is this from trial?
Oh, who knows? You know, we're going to get discovery. We'll take a look at their discovery. They're going to say it's ongoing. I mean, think about it. They had 3 months to get this stuff.
Yeah, and they don't have an indictment. Indictment.
They had 3 months to get warrants. They didn't get warrants that night. They didn't get warrants the next night. They didn't get warrants the next month. They didn't get warrants the month after. They waited 3 months to get warrants on whether or not there's guns, whether or not there's jewelry. How about their cell phones? How about the computers? That gives me great pause when I see a case that takes that long to get warrants, if you believe everything that was said on the evening that it occurred.
So can you tell me
Let me take one from her because she was talking last minute.
Can you say anything about the identity of RD, and then you also spoke about a social media post you made?
Correct. So, listen, I don't like when the government puts initials in and everyone takes a guess who they are. We all know who they are, right? I'm not going to say it's this person or that person. That's not my job to do. But certainly there have been media posts of individuals that we suspect were involved in that evening where they're denying that it occurred or they're denying that they're giving statements to the government. I think that's unusual as well because of what the government put forward today seems to negate those statements, but we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Listen, guys, Sam and I have had many, many cases together, right? We just finished a case a couple of years ago in San Francisco on the Cash App murder case. And whenever I talk to individuals, whenever I talk to the media, I always say,
Yo, chat, low-key, I be wishing I was a lawyer, man. Yo, I think I would have killed as a lawyer. Yo, chat. No, actually, yo, chat, I told you we're going to law school, or we're starting the process this year, right? So the first part of the year was like my DIY shit. Like the second half of the year, try to get in law school, at least get a class or two. I don't know how it's going to take some years, but fuck it, you know?
this is not a straight road. It's always a very winding road. So we never know where things are going to take us. We got to look at the evidence as it comes in, and we'll see what's there. I'm just shocked that, you know, when they say there might be video out there, they don't have it. There might be this mystery contract, they don't have it. Oh.
Yeah, that was also odd. So y'all tell me I don't have a copy of the release? The whole argument is you kidnapped the guy to have him sign a piece of paper. Okay, what was on the piece of paper? Do you have a copy of it? Did Pooh Shiesty try to turn it in to his lawyers? Like, where's this piece of paper?
They were at Staples, you know, making copies. It's just a total guess. So, like, we're not here to guess. I'm here to look at the evidence, to weigh the evidence, and to make the best decision based on that evidence.
Your client just stays in detention until what?
Yeah, currently he'll stay in detention. We'll get discovery. We'll start going through that. There's going to be several motions that we're going to file, obviously, in the next couple of weeks. But that'll all come out. We'll get copies.
So did the feds even interview any of the people? Did the feds even interview any of the people yet? Any of the alleged victims? Or?
So my understanding is the FBI has, over the past 3 or 4 months, has interviewed none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements. But I have no idea if that's true. We're basing it on what the agent said on the stand. That
Yo, Shiesty in 4. Yo, Shiesty got the best lawyer. My man Bradford Cohen, we've seen he's a miracle worker. We've seen how he's held it down for Yak all these years. Unless the feds come with some other shit or Gucci starts singing like a canary, I think this is getting beat.
Each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities.
So RD never made a statement as of now?
Not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RD gave a statement that evening, but since that evening has not given another statement. But
okay, and again, this is just an update on what's happening. I know you want me to play the song. Give me one more second. I just got to play this 1090 Jake thing. It's going to save me some time that we don't have to go back and do it. But 1090 Jake did pull up some paperwork on the Gucci statement, and if you're wondering, did Gucci tell, did he not? Well, this is a little bit more
FBI
detailed.
agent testified under oath that Gucci gave statements to the Dallas PD about the Pooh Shiesty robbery, and I have it. The incident report would state responding officers met with Gucci, Brandon Putman, and Matthew Marzal, who stated they were robbed at gunpoint by 6 or 7 unknown suspects, all wearing black attire. But that isn't all. This is the actual statement, and it's been redacted under Texas law. So if you don't think they ain't said nothing, well, what the fuck you think all that is? Paperwork would also state they got Gucci for $3,600 in cash, a $250,000 watch,
damn,
$250,000 earrings, a $50,000 wedding ring, and who the fuck?
Damn, they robbed him for $250,000 earrings? Damn, I didn't know earrings were that expensive.
Fuck you think told them that? Now pay attention, because all it showed us was they said 6 or 7 unknown suspects were the ones that robbed them. But the federal paperwork would show us BP, Brandon Putman, one of Gucci's day ones, identified not 1, not 2, but 4 suspects himself by Instagram handles and names. That same federal paperwork would state that RD, Roger Davis, aka Gucci, identified Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 by their Instagrams. And this is a throwback picture of BP and Gucci in the Sun Valley Apartments off Boulder Crest Road, Zone 6, East Atlanta. And somebody at the bottom said, not one rat or coward among us. So y'all said Gucci ain't snitch, his security snitch. His security was never even in the fucking room.
True.
They hit Gucci himself for over $500,000 fucking dollars. All together off Gucci's team, they got over $600,000 fucking dollars. They was not about to let that slide. The police said who? They said them. An FBI agent testified under oath that...
Okay. All right. Now, so that's the latest. That is the latest.
More details.
Okay. There is some